Welcome to Creating Your Vision. This is leadership training powered by conversational intelligence. Our agenda today includes looking at what a vision is, your mission, your medal, your mission essential task list, and values. Why do you think these things are important for your team? If you're watching this with a group, please pause the video and discuss this. Otherwise, think about it. Why is it important for your team to have a vision? Before you have a meeting, especially one where people are going to be interacting and there could be some conflict, some contention, some vying for position, it's important to have rules of engagement. I would recommend that you create this list with your team. Say, what would it look like to have a successful meeting? And you might have some things on it, such as it'll be interactive, you'll show respect for others, all ideas are great ideas when shared, step up and step back as needed, don't take it or make it personal, we expect full participation, including ideas or stories, and it's time boxed to keep on track. Again, these are a suggested list. Make it a list that your team can get behind. In fact, it's best if you can get their support in creating the list. Then if somebody does not follow the proper procedure, you don't have to discuss it with them. It's no longer you against them, it's them against this team-created list. You have to just point at the list and say, didn't we say we were going to do this? So it's always a good idea to have rules of engagement anytime you're going to have some kind of interaction where people are going to have various opinions. The leadership to-do list is what you absolutely must do as a new leader. When you take over a team, the first thing you'll want to do is to measure your team baseline effectiveness. We're not going to talk about that today, but this is essentially your KPIs, your key performance indicators. You have to know some measurable way to see how your team is doing before you start working with them, and then you can measure your effectiveness by measuring their effectiveness later. We are going to talk about determining the team purpose. Why are we a team? Why are we together? Establish a vision for the team so I know where I'm supposed to go. Create or conscript your team mission. What are we doing this year? What kind of decisions should I make on a day-to-day basis? Craft your mission essential task list. When things are going crazy, which ones do I know I have to do? And then forge shared operational values so that when there's a question, should I try it this way or this way, I can look at those operational values and say, oh no, I know, we do it this way because this is what we value. This is a fun project, so if you're watching this as a group, after you see the directions, I recommend that you pause the video and take time to do this. So you would count off by fours, have the groups go to the whiteboard, create a picture or a metaphor of teamwork. As a group, these four people need to determine what kind of a team are they going to be, and then create some kind of a metaphor or a picture of teamwork so that they can feel like, what does it take to be a team? And then ask them to name the team. This is a really good exercise to understand how it feels to be part of a team, especially if somebody takes over when nobody expected that, if somebody doesn't participate, and you can see what it's like just in a very microcosm to see what it's like to be on a team. I recommend a 3-minute exercise for this. Determine your team purpose. Why are you a team? For what reason are you together? This is to be the rudder for the team. It needs to be a challenging yet attainable purpose. Why are we together? What is our purpose here? And I'm going to show you some examples from the National Endowment for the Arts. It's general enough so that anybody could use the same themes. You can see that the purpose is a federal agency that funds, promotes, and strengthens the creative capacity of our communities by providing all Americans with diverse opportunities for arts participation. So you can see that it does what? By providing for whom and with what. So these are some key thoughts about how to write your team purpose. Why are you together as a team? What is the purpose, your shared purpose? Next, you'll want to establish a vision. What is your team's preferred future state? In a year, in 5 years, what are we going to be? A picture that shows what tomorrow can be. Microsoft, when Bill Gates first founded it, his vision was actually a vision that he saw. He saw it in his head, and he thought everybody saw it. And that's why he dropped out of school, out of college, because he thought everybody saw it and he wanted to be in on it. And later he said that nobody else saw it for at least 8 years, and he could have graduated from college. But as a result, he was extremely successful because that company used the same vision the entire time he was there. And that vision was a computer on every desk and in every home. Very simple, but you could see exactly what he saw. And at the time that he developed that, 1976, nobody saw that. Everybody thought the computers were going to be so big there would only be 8 of them in the whole world. And he saw that they were going to be small. And he retired when their vision changed. And that vision now is a computer in every pocket, fully interconnected with each other, and no need to know code to make it work. That's their new vision, and I guarantee it's going to take a lot less than 30 years for that one to happen. So let's look at the National Endowment for the Arts vision. A nation in which artistic excellence is celebrated, supported, and available to all. This is what we want the world to be like because we're in it. Do you see? So what is your team's preferred future state? This is your job to create. I recommend that you might take a day to think about it, maybe even with part of your team. But this is really something that you have to decide. Where are we going? The mission, you'll want to create it or conscript it. If you have an overarching company, you'll want to conscript it. If you don't have an overarching company with a mission of their own, you'll create it. So it's how you will attain the vision. Defines the present state or purpose of the team. Remember, the vision is the future state, but by creating the present state, then you can attain your vision. So what it does, your team does, who it does it for, and how it does it. For example, National Endowment for the Arts. We enrich our nation and its diverse cultural heritage by supporting works of artistic excellence, advancing learning in the arts, and strengthening the arts in communities throughout the country. You can see these are the things that they are currently doing. This is a team project to create. I would recommend that you realize that you may not be doing all of these things now, but this is what you want to be doing because you haven't actually laid it out. The team hasn't seen that this is what our mission is, and so they may not be working on all these things. So keep that in mind. It is very flexible. Next, we want to work on a mission essential task list, the METAL. This is a list of tasks that a team must accomplish. This is a military term because if they can't get anything else done, this is what they have to do when the chips are down. It's also known as the critical success factors. We use that term in ITIL. So if you're an ITIL person, then you know CSFs. These are the factors that are critical for team capabilities to be successfully fulfilled. This is part of that whole list of all the things that your team does that must be done if nothing else gets done. What do you have to get right based on your team's processes and practices? That means that you may not know their processes and practices. Maybe you don't know what their team capabilities are. So you would certainly need to start by creating an inventory. What do they do? What can they do? What should they be doing? List all the tasks that your team is responsible for, and then select only those tasks that are essential to team success. So it's really a good idea to take an inventory on this, to get everybody to tell you what they do on a regular basis. You are in charge of this. Then you want to forge shared operational values. This is what a team openly agrees on. Now, hopefully, there's a lot of values in our lives that we have, and this helps us make a decision between, should I do this or should I do this? Should I pick up that $20 that's sitting on the floor and put it in my pocket, or should I try to find the owner of it? Those are values, they're decisions we have to make all the time. But as a team, I don't know what the whole team thinks is right. For example, I know of a sales team that had never discussed this. The owner never brought up what they thought was right, and so this sales team has a tendency to make sales at all costs. In other words, they don't care if they lie to the customer, they don't care if they steal a customer from another employee, and as a result, it's not a very nice place to work because they never thought about what do they value. So it's important. This can improve communication, conflict resolution. Can you see that if we made a value statement that we do not steal clients from each other, that the sales team would probably have less conflict resolution? And then team accountability. What do we expect from each other? This is similar to rules of engagement for meetings that we saw earlier, but this you definitely want to work together as a team to create. I would recommend that you create a list of 10 to 15 values that are important to you personally, especially as the team leader. Then the team members check 5 that they think are important and then add 1. Then select the items that occur on multiple lists. If you have a really big team, you might want to choose just the top 10 because you may have a lot that are on multiple lists. But if you have a team of 20 or 30, you'll probably just want to take the top 10. And then post them so people know. This is a suggested list, but I'm going to show you an even longer list to choose your 10 to 15 from. Please pause the video and read through the list and write down the ones that you think are important, and certainly add your own. This is just an example list. Remember, first we're going to measure team baseline effectiveness, determine the KPIs. You'll have that so you'll know whether you're being effective or not throughout the life of your team. Then establish a team purpose. Why are we here together? Establish a vision for your team. Where are we going? Conscript or create your team mission. What are we supposed to do now? And craft mission essential task lists. What do we do when I don't know what else to do? And then forge those shared operational values so I know how to make the right decision every day. Our next session is on decision making, the styles of decision making, brainstorming, and building agreement. Because if you're going to brainstorm and a lot of people are going to participate in the decision making, you need to make sure that they also stand behind it. This is not how to make your own personal decision, but how to create a consensus decision.